Hello, welcome to Notes on History. I'm Paul Stetzel. Today is July 2nd, 2018. So for those of you watching this video in the United States of not actually the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, Happy Independence Day! Kinda, sorta, not really in any way, shape, or form. You'll hear about this at some point today. At some point, whether it be in the news or on the radio, someone's going to say this. I heard it myself this morning on my way out to the library. Someone's going to tell you that today, July 2nd, is actually American Independence Day and not July 4th. And the reason they'll tell you that is because it's kind of true, but it's not really true. So what exactly happened on July 2nd, 1776 that makes some people say that? Well, that's the day that the Continental Congress passed what we usually call the Lea Resolution. Here it is right here. This is something that the Congress had been debating for about a month after the Virginia legislature had instructed its delegation to the Congress to introduce this resolution about a month before that. This may surprise some people. Remember, this is over a year after the actual fighting started in the American Revolution, and many Americans still were not really ready to talk about independence. In fact, many Americans wouldn't actually talk openly about independence until very, very late in the process. So, on June 7th, 1776, Richard Henry Lee, this guy here, he was one of the delegates from Virginia. He proposed the following. I'll read it just in case the handwriting makes it a little tough to follow. That these united colonies are, and of right ought to be, free and independent states, that they are absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown, and that all political connection between them and the state of Great Britain is, and ought to be, totally dissolved. That it is expedient forthwith to take the most effectual measures for forming foreign alliances, that a plan of confederation be prepared and transmitted to the respective colonies for the consideration and approbation. On July 2nd, after the delegates had had a chance to take this resolution back to their respective legislatures back home in each of the colonies, and obtain their approval, of course, a vote was held, and the first part of this resolution was passed. The other two parts wouldn't be passed till a little later on. John Adams famously said that July 2nd would be the day that Americans would celebrate American independence. He said this in a letter to his wife. Here's what he wrote. The 2nd day of July, 1776, will be the most memorable epoch in the history of America. I am apt to believe that it will be celebrated by succeeding generations as the great anniversary festival. It ought to be commemorated as the day of deliverance by solemn acts of devotion to God Almighty. It ought to be solemnized with pomp and parade, with shows, games, sports, guns, bells, bonfires, and illuminations from one end of this continent to the other, from this time forward, forevermore. Now, supporting John Adams' popular view that the 2nd would be the important day, the Pennsylvania Gazette wrote about this as well on the 3rd of July. They made this very dramatic and memorable statement on the front page of their paper. Straight away from the subscriber, living in the East Whitehead Township, Chester County, on the 7th day of May last, 4 cattle, vis-a-vis 3 cows and a heifer. Okay, hold on. I'm sorry. Bear with me. It's here somewhere. Here it is. $8 reward. Run away from the subscriber living in Lower Smithfield Township, Northampton County, on the 19th of June. A certain Dutch servant man. Hold on. No. Wait. Hold on. Maybe it's on page 2. Let's check page 2. Let's see here. The King in Parliament, Spanish garrisons. Ship arrived in New York. Aha, here it is. Page 2, column 3, about halfway down. That's where we always put the most important newspaper. You millennials probably don't realize that with newspapers, that's where all the important news went. It was second page in, halfway down, far right-hand side. Here's what they said. They said, yesterday, the Continental Congress declared the United Colonies free and independent states. And then we're on to something else. See? Even then, the actual legal procedure for a vote, the actual document that created a free and independent country, complete with 18th century legalese, yay, Not really a big deal. No one noticed. But just like today, give it a little pizzazz, a little shine, and suddenly now, well, let's look at the same paper a week later. Remember, this paper only published once a week. It wasn't a daily newspaper. Here's the same paper. We have right here the entire text of the Declaration of Independence, with all of its eloquence, all the grandeur of human dignity, the majesty of freedom and self-determination, another cow that strayed away from its home in Germantown. Heads up, by the way, if you see her, rumor has it that George Sharples really wants her back. You see, that's the reason we don't celebrate July 2nd. It's because even then, no one cared until someone wrote it down in an eloquent way. Give it a little pizzazz. Reporters, you understand what I mean. If you like this video, please be sure to like Notes on History on Facebook, or of course you can leave family-friendly comments on this website. I'm also a professional genealogist, of course, so if you're looking for some assistance with your family research project, make sure you visit the Research Services section of the notesonhistory.org website to get that process started. Of course, you can also send me an email directly at paul@notesonhistory.org. Thanks for watching. Oh, and keep an eye out for stray cows.